gosh, I can't believe I'm finally filming again. I've been talking about making a new video for like months and months and months, and I'm finally making the video, so I'm like, feel pretty good about myself. By the way, how do you like my new intro? I think it's pretty tight. Alright, so today I'm just gonna do like a little drive with me and kind of catch up on what's going on so I can get the ball rolling on these videos again. So even though I haven't been making any videos, I have been buying parts for the cars and such. But I just didn't want to keep making the same videos where it's just like this reoccurring, like, you know, video in the garage working on the cars. I want different stuff on the channel, like me driving on the track, maybe car events, you know, stuff like that. And funny, the 100th hill climb is this weekend, but obviously I'm an asshole and didn't prepare, and so it is sold out. So I don't even know if I'm going to be able to go. We'll have to see. A friend of mine is going to come down to visit to go to the hill climb. So worst case scenario, maybe I can get him to do a little bit of filming for me so I can just add it into a video. But anyways, let's talk about what's been going on with the bitches, aka the cars. Like everybody's always asking about the SC, so I'll start with that first. Pretty much, I'll just start the sentence out with, first of all of my cars kind of like took it at the same time. The turbos blew on the Avant, spun a rod bearing in the Mini, and then I had, you know, kind of a cluster of things going on with the SC as far as like the wiring and other things. So the program that they use to set up the alarm system that I got for the SC is really confusing, and I'm not able to find any literature about like what the different lights mean or how to set it up or anything like that. So I got totally stumped and stuck as far as like the wiring stuff on the SC. Because of the wiring situation that was going on with the SC, my brother Morgan and I, if you've seen any of my previous videos, Morgan's been in some of my older videos, and we were just kind of like, well, what, we could just get something done today, just trying to be proactive and work on the car and stuff. Well, we went out there and I had a set of tow arms for the rear from Figs, and I'm like, well, I have these tow arms that we can install. So thinking that it was just going to be, I don't know, maybe an hour or 2 hour thing at most, we start to remove the old tow arms and realize that on the driver's side, the cam bolt was completely seized inside of that metal bushing. And we tried every possible way to remove it. We tried heat, we tried banging on it, we tried everything, and it really came down to like it wouldn't move at all. Like it was moving absolutely zero. So we ended up having to cut through it, and it was such a freaking nightmare because in doing all of this, trying to get that cam bolt off to remove that arm, the eye hole which is part of the subframe, ended up getting torn, and I felt like I could get it tack welded and fix the eye hole that got tore, but then I would feel insecure about the subframe holding up. Like it'll never be as strong as it once was. So I started trying to source another subframe, and somebody that lived locally was nice enough to give me one that they had laying around that they weren't using. So I got the subframe for the SC, and it just kind of like all went downhill from there. I mean, not in a bad way, but it was just a lot more than I was expecting, I guess, for the moment. I knew that the bushings and stuff needed to be done on the SC, but I think when you really get under there and you start looking and see how bad it is, you're like, okay, I can't put this off anymore. Especially when you're spending all this money to like have more power in your car, but then your chassis can't even, or like your drivetrain can't even handle it because your bushings are like essentially mush, which is like what mine were. They were either all the ball joints were completely blown or the bushings were mush. And so I ordered the entire bushing kit from Strong Flex, and then they sat in a box for months because I had a lot of stuff going on. I'm sure like a lot of people, you know, everybody's just had a lot of stuff going on, like, you know, pandemic aftermath crap and stuff like that. And so I just didn't have the motivation to work on the car, and I wanted to so bad, but it was the middle of winter. I didn't want to be out in the garage. I didn't want to be outside. So they sat there for a couple of months, and I finally decided, like, you know what, it's time, like, I need to start, like, putting these bushings and, like, get the car going again. So I started removing other arms so that I could replace all of these bushings. And in doing that, that turned into me replacing some arms. I was thinking that if I was going to keep the stock arms, that I could at very least put the poly bushings in the stock arms so that at least it was better than it was, until I decided to upgrade arms to, like, you know, the mega arms from Figs or whatever. So I ended up replacing some of the arms because the ball joint was totally gone, and also in like replacing all the bushings, I had like 2 or 3 other mishaps with the same exact situation with the cam bolt thing. So I would like go to take an arm off, and then the cam bolt seized on, ended up having to cut it just like the one in the rear. So it was kind of like, I'm going to do these bushings, and then that turned into like, well, of course all the ball joints are blown too. And yeah, so it was just like one thing after the other. And then I was having to special order from Lexus the cam bolts that I was having to cut off of the car. And oh my gosh, like that was a nightmare too, trying to cut that shit without cutting into something that you're not supposed to cut in. It was just, it was fun. It was lots of fun. So, but anyways, even though it was just kind of like a lot more than I was anticipating, at least I know like when it's all done, like the car is going to be good and whatnot. But so I replaced a couple arms. I'm waiting for the last set of arms that I need to put the SC back on the ground, which are the lower control arms for the rear, and I bought the mega arms from Figs. So I'm waiting for those. They said that it's going to be about a 3-week wait, and that was about a week ago. So hopefully I'll be seeing those in about 2 weeks. I also decided to get the subframe powder coated, just to prevent like rust and stuff. Like obviously, you know, no one's going to see it, but you know, I see it. So, so it matters. Okay. So I'm pretty much done. I just have like a couple bushings left to do and just waiting for the arms and just kind of putting stuff back together. Oh, I did also, another thing that I knew I needed to get done and I was just putting off forever was the steering rack. Stand on it, girl, stand on it. So this is actually the car I was going to use to track while I was, you know, fixing the Mini and stuff. But this too was also having issues. So I was just going to use it while I was forging the 2011 Mini that I have. But this car is really badass, and it's got a water meth system in it, which some of you Subaru people might want to look into because Cobb's not letting people tune on E85 anymore. So I know a lot of people are like losing their mother trucking minds because of that. One of my friends at least said that he had spent $600. His words specifically were, I spent $600 on a paperweight. So, you know, maybe just food for thought. Water meth is super dope. If you don't know about it, look it up, because I don't know facts. Okay, I just know it's dope. Cools the engine off really nice. It definitely has kind of a sweet smell when it sprays, and it like mixes. You get like the same high octane that you get with the 85. Blah blah blah. It's awesome. I'm actually thinking about doing it in the 2011 Mini also. So anyway, since we're talking about minis, with the Mini Cooper, I spun the rod bearing. I bought all my forge parts from SuperTech about, was that in like November or something like that? It was quite a while ago. Some of the parts I got right away, and some of them I had to wait months for. So I got all the parts I needed from SuperTech, and I decided I was going to put it together myself, and I'm like, you know what? I have my hands so full with other projects. I'm not trying to like load myself with more shit I need to do. So a friend of mine recommended somebody to build the engine for me, and I feel very confident about them and their skill set. So as I was inquiring about prices and such, he was asking me some questions about the parts that I had to put on the car. Whistle while you turn. She gets down. She's like a little beast out for blood. Okay. So he's asking about some of the parts that I had for the rebuild, and then let me know that I was going to need the oversized pistons. So I had to send back the stock size pistons that I had already gotten. And I'm like, please don't be back ordered, please. And of course, like, they received the pistons I sent back, and I'm like, okay, so how long until you send the new ones? And they're like, oh, they're back ordered. It's going to be like 4 to 6 weeks. So after like 6-7 weeks, they finally sent them to me. I just got them like a week ago. So now I need to pull the engine out of the Mini to take that to the builder. But yeah, so I have all the parts for the Mini. Just need to take the engine out, drop it off at the builder. As far as the Audi goes, both of the turbos blew. I had bought a parts Audi quite some time ago, and I finally just started getting the motivation to get out there and start pulling all the parts that I need off that Audi for the Avant. So I pulled the transmission, I pulled the diff, which it's so funny. I guess maybe because I'm just so used to seeing like the underneath of a JZ. I've been under that car more than any other car in my life. It's like the diff and like the whole setup under the Audi looks so alien to me. It's kind of hilarious. I'm like, oh my gosh, other cars look different. But it's like so weird looking compared to like the JZ. So just thought I'd throw that out there, you know. I will say in making this video right now that I'm so happy to be back filming, but I have a whole new respect for people who consistently film for YouTube regardless of what's going on in their life, because it is incredibly difficult. It's difficult to, you know, go through things in life and feel vulnerable and put yourself on camera and like do all of that stuff. So a whole new respect for people that do that, because it is really hard. But I knew that the longer I went without filming a video, the harder it was for me to like finally make the video. But also want to like thank all the people that were like sending me messages or leaving comments about me making another video, because I really feel like if anything motivated me, it was that. So just thank you to all the people that were, you know, not forgetting about the channel and, you know, stuff like that, and just let you know you were motivating me even if you didn't realize. So thank you for that. I feel like because so many people have been asking about the SC, my next video I'll probably try to highlight the SC, because I feel like she is the star of the show. It's just to like show everybody like the parts and stuff I've been doing and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm just excited to be car again. Excited to be working on the car again. I just want it to be done. I, for once, want to hear someone say, like, man, I'm so glad to see your car out, instead of like, when are you going to get it done? When are you going to finally pull your head out of your ass and finish this car? So, anyways, thank you so much for coming back to watch, and I'll be putting out a new video soon. Like and subscribe. Bye. Come on, Felicia. You ignorant son of a bitch.